What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcasts, and we are awesome. I am Justin, here with Meelz. It is a gloomy day in Los Angeles today, Meelz. What's it like on your side? You burning up?
Hot as fuck. What are you talking about? Like, in New York City, it is Satan's anus when you walk outside. Like, it's literally
Is it like Do the Right Thing?
Yes, but also, like, I don't know. Like, yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah, the New York heat is like, it's different, but I have nothing to compare it to, so maybe I'm fucking bugging. I don't go anywhere. But like, the New York heat is like, back in the day, I'm going my back on the day shit.
Oh, here we
Back in the
go. Yo,
day in New York City, this is equivalent to when Drew McIntyre tells his Scottish tales on Raw, and everyone's just like, "Oh my god, I didn't ask for this." Um, Back in the day, New York, and it would be hot as hell, and it's trash day, so the whole city smells like ass anyway, and it's hot and like bees and like flies and all this other stuff. And now you include mask into the thing, and et cetera, et cetera. Like, it's too much. It's too much. Um, last week I recorded the episode in the room. Our AC had broken down, so I had to do it. Thankfully it's back. So, oh my god.
Jesus. We're going to talk about masks a little bit later in the show. But global warming is weird, man. It really is.
Global warming is weird. It's not enough attention.
But it's weird and it's real. Let's just be clear. Oh, we're I think we both stand on that. It's real.
Yeah. Clearly not enough attention being brought to this issue. Like, not nearly. Like, until our masks melt off or something along those lines. Like, clearly, like, this is a situation that needs to be handled. Easily.
Yeah,
you know what's another situation that needs to be? Sorry, I feel like I keep stepping over your words.
Go ahead.
You know another situation that needs to be handled?
What?
So we had bought a replacement AC, and it came yesterday. The situation that needs to be handled is FedEx. FedEx left the entire unit downstairs in the lobby. Mind you, this isn't an inconspicuous box. You know it's an air conditioner. There's a picture of the air conditioner on the box. And they just left it downstairs. And luckily it was a time where my mom was, she was checking her thing, and she was like, "Yo, it's delivered." And I was like, "Oh, let me go check what's downstairs." It was completely down there, just chilling.
How big was it?
It's huge. 8,000 BTU unit. It's huge.
Well, nobody could steal it, Meelz, you know?
If people really, really want it, they'll take that AC. Like, I carried it all the way upstairs. If someone really, really wanted it, they would take it. You know what I'm saying?
How many
like
people, I don't want to, have people know where you live at or try to find every type of, building that has this many floors. But like, what floor are you on?
I'm on the 4th floor.
Ooh, well, I mean, Meelz, you picked that up with one hand.
This was a two-hander. Sorry, this was a two-hander. Sorry to disappoint everybody. But this was a two-hander. It was pretty tough to move. Like, but it's like people say like, "Yo, I saw this on King of the Hill once, and it's like they talk about like teen smoking, how bad it is, and how they should stop doing it. And there's like, Hank Hill said, if you have one hand with a tool, because they were doing wood shop, if you have one hand in a tool and another hand with a tool, you have no hands to smoke. And the principal was just like, they'll just put down the tools if they want to smoke bad enough. Like, what the fuck? Like, someone will take it if they want it bad enough, which I would respect. It's not me. I don't personally do that. I don't like that type of karma on my body. But
so air conditioning theft, just know we know. Just know that we know.
Shit, man. Who paying for that? FedEx? No. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. The world we live in.
And we actually have a segment that we were going to do for our Patreon. But in order to kind of incentivize people to check out our Patreon, which you can sign up for at patreon.com/the A Show RNC, is our top 10 wrestlers so far in 2021 for WWE. This is a long
Mm-hmm.
conversation. This is a long conversation me and Meelz had. It goes around 40 something minutes on the Patreon episode. But just because we want to have, let you guys on the free versions eat, we're going to play you guys the top 3 picks from that so that you can have a conversation about it. The graphic will be out with this episode, so we can talk about it on Twitter and social media. But the actual conversation between Meelz and I is on the Patreon episode, so make sure you check it out because it is very in depth and very, very dope.
Listen, you're gonna want to check this out because we're talking a whole bunch of stuff on this one. But yeah, let's get into the top 3 2021 so far. Top 3 WWE superstars. Number 3, Matt Riddle. Oh man, Matt Riddle. Talk about a year.
What I tell y'all? What I tell y'all, man? I said,
I
don't
mean,
be
it's our
shocked.
list.
I know, but I'm saying I've been trying to warn people on the show for about a year that the way that they booked him and the way that they book him is indicative of how they make stars. Even when he was on SmackDown, he didn't take many L's. When he, you know what I'm saying? Like this is a guy who was on TV every single week. And ever since he got the Raw, he's been on TV every single week in some type of match, having the best match on the show. And that has continued into 2021, where I don't think that he's had a bad match this year.
That's tough. That's tough to not have a bad match. Because they
Exactly.
put you in a lot of matches. He had a banger with Xavier Woods, banger with Kofi Kingston, banger with Drew McIntyre the other night, had 2 bangers on Monday Night Raw last night. He's the most consistent wrestler and also has the gimmick to kind of match. He's putting smiles on faces while kicking ass in the ring. The
We laughed.
man,
We laughed at the gimmick. We laughed at the birds coming out. We laughed at it, and it's over.
I mean,
This guy is
and
going to
just
be
wait to the people. Wait for the people.
exactly. This guy's going to be one of the most over guys on the show when they go back to crowds.
Yeah. This to me kind of like this is if and we're watching 2001 Raws, and if you're a fan of the Invasion Diaries, first of all, thank you. And then second, we're having an episode this Monday coming up, and J5 is on it again. So it's just me and J5. We're talking like it's the A show shit. But one of the most over wrestlers at the time, Rob Van Dam. But I only think now this feud, this to me kind of mirrors that, and the only thing that kind of makes it really like a non-mirror of it is that they didn't go all the way with Rob Van Dam. You know what I'm saying? They didn't give him they gave him the opportunities from time to time, but they never decided that he should be a champion or anyone of any note on Raw or actually carry the show. With Matt Riddle, you clearly see that. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but we clearly see what they're doing with this guy.
Yeah, and when you see the last 2 guys on this list, you'll understand that Matt Riddle could only stand next to these 2 guys in terms of match quality and being the best guy on the card at any given time. And that's why he deserves this part. And again, we've talked about the potential issues with him outside of the ring. We're judging it in the ring, and when that shit comes, we'll judge accordingly. You know what I mean? But in terms of in ring, this guy is a jackass outside of it. He's an idiot outside of it. Inside the ring, he's a cold motherfucker. That's really all we can say about it.
Number 2, Drew McIntyre.
I gotta tell you a story about.
He's just been consistent. He's equally as consistent as he was last year. He kicked off the year WWE champion. He had a good to solid match with Goldberg, which is tough to do. Battled COVID. Can't believe he jobbed out COVID. Can't forget that. But really throughout the year, he's just been as consistent. And while people have been like, oh, we need a kind of a new person to get this title shot, like even when he isn't in the title picture as he is now, I mean, just over the last 2 weeks, that triple threat match that he had on Raw and the Raw with Riddle, the match with Riddle, like clearly he's putting on, and clearly he has some influence in like, okay, I want to make these guys look good. I want to have these amazing type of matches. And that's what he's doing. Like Drew McIntyre's, he's real. Like he's real. Send him a SmackDown, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a move is imminent for him, depending on where Riddle goes. I'll be real honest. I think where Riddle is in terms of being a top baby face by the end of the year would depend on whether they need Drew anymore on Raw,
Very
not
true.
not in general, but on Raw. But if he goes to SmackDown, you get a perfect feud with the number one
The
guy.
number one. Sorry, didn't read it. I was reading something else. Number one, Roman Reigns. This man has undoubtedly. So we had. So I'll say this: we originally had different lists. It's very ironic because I had Drew at number one and you had Roman Reigns at number one. So I'd like to actually know what was your kind of thoughts for picking Roman Reigns at number one over Drew McIntyre. Like, where does that kind of lead?
I think Roman's aura. I think his aura, his charisma, to me is where Drew longs to be. He's not there yet. I think Drew's great, but he's not Roman yet. I think Roman, when he commands you to watch when he
Mm-hmm.
comes out, he commands you to watch when he says something. He has completely revamped his character to what he is right now. And I think the difference between he and Drew is that I think the level of competition on SmackDown is just so much better. Look at who Roman has to face. He's got KOs and Daniel Bryan's and Edges and stuff like that. Drew's got a. I'm not saying Drew's working with milkmen, but the level of competition is clearly different on Raw. And Drew,
Sheamus kind of looks like a milk.
but I mean, like, it's just a different level of competition. I think Roman can get more out of the guys. I think what Roman could do with Daniel Bryan is a lot higher than what Drew could have done with Bobby Lashley. You know what I mean? Like he just there's just so much more he could do on that show. It's just dependent on the shows. I think if you switch the shows, it would I would have put Drew at number one.
Gotcha. No, I agree. I think Roman Reigns has just kind of had the entire. I mean, he's the full entire package at this point, and it's clear to see where he's moving. There doesn't seem to be an end of sight to his reign at all. Um, and I mean, given all the rumors, he's gonna have the biggest match that he's ever had thus far during this reign, coming up in a couple weeks. So we have that to look forward to. So Roman Reigns is number one on our list, and maybe number one in our hearts. And that's our top 10 for 2021 so far. At the end of the year, we're going to do our list of Wrestler of the Year, Superstar of the Year, have these conversations once again. And, we'd love to hear what you guys think, or your guys of the year thus far, who should have been on this list, who didn't make this list, and a bunch of things. Yeah.
Yeah, get the comment section in the Patreon popping, man. Let's see what you guys got to say, man. I want to see it. So we're gonna put up the graphic. You guys are gonna be able to comment on it, and we're gonna have some good conversation about it. Let's talk. All right, so let's get into No Holds Barred. This is a really depressing No Holds Barred.
Ooh, come on. It's it's practically the unemployment line of No Holds Barred. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Too soon. Sorry. I'm trying to make
So
light of the situation before we head into all this serious talk.
so last Friday we had more releases. More releases. We want to talk about the first one, writer Kenise Mobley.
I will say everything I need to say right now.
Okay.
Well, first of all, let's do the prelude. She was fired this week. It was reports due to a podcast that she appeared on. Was this after the show last week? Did we get to talk about any of this last week, or did this happen like after the show,
No,
like it
it
normally does
happened
with
after the
everything?
show. It happened after the show, and the podcast was being talked about, but it wasn't like from what I understood, like what I thought, it wasn't like that big of a deal. I thought it was just like, she said that she wasn't familiar with the product. She didn't get Bobby Lashley's name right, and boom. It was like, oh, how could you do that? And I was like, well, listen, they don't ever hire anybody based on their wrestling knowledge, and we moved on.
Absolutely.
But
Right.
apparently, it had been going on for much longer. I started noticing that a lot of different wrestling accounts had started picking this stuff up, and they were reporting on it. And of course, that signal boosted to a lot of people within the community, and it became by Thursday a huge fucking conversation to a point where a lot of people were reposting it and talking about it and getting upset about it.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to think. let me stop right there. I'm not going to tell you what to think. If you're mad about this, you're just a different person than I am, because this I'm not mad about this. And I'm not trying to like dismiss it or shrug it or anything like that, because I do feel like, in a sense, that hey, maybe you should know these things that are going on. But at the same time, WWE hired her knowing full well that she didn't know a lot of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've started jobs. I've started a job 3 weeks in. I don't know everybody's names. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it would be great if I knew everybody's names, but some people, I went to college for 4 years, sat next to people, exchange notes, exchange things, test stuff. I didn't know who the hell they were at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Um, but these are situations I feel like where people aren't necessarily given the gravity, aren't even given the opportunity to kind of rise and fail before they're kind of released in this situation. And I talked about this on Twitter because it actually pissed me off last week, and I'm kind of great. I'm grateful now that it's like 4 days later, and I've definitely cooled down, because if we had talked about this when it happened, I would have been pissed. But the fact that you don't even know who's writing Raw, you don't know. You don't know who's writing Raw. You don't even know who's 95% of the creative are. And I'm pretty sure if you knew, you would follow them on Twitter and you would harass them there. But luckily, they don't, as unfortunately Kenise did, or Kenise.
I think that was her biggest, to me, snafu was not only just saying it. Like I don't think I like personally. I don't think it was a problem with her saying it, because we
Yeah, I
know
don't
that,
think so either.
but it might have been detrimental to her position by saying that publicly. I'll admit that.
Yeah,
But, um,
absolutely.
and having people know, because she was one of the ones that had announced that she got the job, and I was like, I would have just I wouldn't have did
But
it.
she didn't know. She doesn't know the wrestling business, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know the rabid fans and all this other stuff like that. Like, you don't know how many people have we known have announced the jobs that they're at. Oh, we're moving to this label, or we're moving to this company, or et cetera, and announce kind of that. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I think we both you. Wow, thank you, motorcycle. Um, but you don't particularly do it much anymore because people are weird. And
Yeah.
even we've experienced, you know, I would love to say regular fans, but they are wrestling fans, being weird
Mhm.
about things that are in our personal lives, or decisions that we make, or jobs that we have, or et cetera, et cetera. Um, However, I think, yeah, that was her only kind of thing. But the fact that you don't even know who's 95 of these people writing Raw, and you're already, shitting on her because she's a comedy writer writing a television show. That's
Yeah.
so weird to me. You know what I'm saying? And then the second half of it, it's like you didn't even give her the room to like learn the damn job. Like, who knows what she could have become. And I generally feel weird about this because I don't even know how she feels. So I feel like I'm projecting this like massive outrage when she could be like, I didn't even want that job anyway. Like, so I never want to like kind of I want to hear how she feels. I don't know when the next time we'll hear that, because
Well,
if
she made her account private, and
she did that a long time ago.
she's been posting that she's been getting DMs from her website account, of her Squarespace account, from people calling her, really bad, disrespectful things, on there. And I gotta say, like, the people signal boosting this as if they don't like. I think Sarah said it best. Like, did you know how to flip burgers before you got a job or something like that? Like nobody, no one knows. No one has the infinite knowledge to know everything before they get a job. That's what you learn on the job. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But I think there was definitely two things to this here, three things maybe. One of it is, yes, she didn't know, so there's that elitist factor with wrestling, right? And the
Hmm.
next two, some people probably don't want to hear, but it's absolutely true. There's a racial angle here. Hashtag racial angle here. And let's just grab the elephant and pull it right into the middle of the room. That's definitely an issue there. Because a lot of the people I saw getting on her were white people. Let's just be clear.
Absolutely.
And number
And
three,
first, and people, honestly, and people in their positions. For instance, let's talk about. I know this is like bad in retrospect because we found out he had like CTE and shit like that. Mike Adamle, who would publicly say the wrong thing on Monday Night Raw, and you know what he got? He got a promotion in his character because apparently enough people loved it and found it funny
mhm,
that he would call Jeff Hardy Jeff Harvey, or he would call this that and that, or whatever. He would mess up something, Jamaican me crazy, all types of terrible stuff, terrible things that he would say. Not like terrible bad, but just like, wow, that's corny as fuck. And he
yeah,
got promoted. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not afforded the same opportunity. She was fired 4 weeks into her job. Not even like, we don't think you should do this again, or you should learn from this situation. We'll pass you off with a warning or anything. It was like, no, you're clipped. And then we were told it wasn't because of the outrage. It was because that people backstage didn't necessarily like it. And while I believe that part is true, I 100% believe that the outrage was part of it.
Yeah, optics wise, man, working at a company, working at something like that, it just looks bad. You know what I mean? It just looks bad on them. But there's a third thing I wanted to say that's the elephant in the room here is that she was a woman. And you already know what wrestling fans and their reckoning with race and women and protecting women of color and protecting people of color has. They don't have any at all. And I saw an alarming amount of people of color not defending, not attempting to even understand or reckon what that might be like, because you yourself are also a person that will be in white spaces. You yourself will also be a person that is trying to find themselves in a situation they don't know about, making God knows how much money than you've ever made. Because I've been in her situation before. I'm still in her situation today in a lot of ways, but you learn and people give you a chance. These people never gave this woman a chance. All right. And I'm not saying she didn't deserve to, she shouldn't have said that, but she deserved a chance. She was allotted that. And no one gave her that because she didn't know, because she was a woman, and because she was black. I hate to say
it. And then also, I think a lot of it comes off. One, I do believe the elitist thing definitely comes off. But if you look at if you try to make sense of the entire thing, she was on a podcast, I believe, with like a fellow comedian, or she's a comedian herself. And I think she was generally taking the awkwardness of the situation and making comedy out of it. It's like Bobby Lashley. Oh my God, I should really know these things. I don't think it was meant to ever disparage Bobby Lashley and the things that she did.
Him. Yeah.
It was clearly someone who deals with these kind of situations in that way. I could be projecting. I don't really know her that well, but that's how it like comes off to me when I look at her occupation, when I look at the things, when I look at her tweets and stuff like that. Like, y'all didn't even give her a chance. Y'all suck. Wrestling fans suck. They just do. They just do. And you talk about how terrible Raw is and how terrible the writing is and how terrible WWE is, and then someone new comes in and you see them and you say, "Oh, you're also terrible." All right, so do you hate people who know about the company, or do you hate people who don't know about the company? Like, which one is it? What do you want? I don't know. Let's get to the other releases.
Yeah. Also on Friday, a record number of releases on Friday. Ready for this one, Meelz?
Yes.
So we got Fandango, Tyler Breeze, Tony Nese, Arya Daivari, August Gray, Everrise, that is the tag team comprised of Chase Parker and Matt Martell, who are on NXT, Kurt Stallion, the Bollywood Boys, who are Sonal and Samir Singh, Arturo Ruiz, Marina Shafir, Killian Dane, and Tino Sabatelli, who, if you remember, Tino was actually brought back last year.
The famous, the alleged snitch who came back home, Paul Revere, who really said, "Oh, we spoiling programs? Let me spoil your program." And then they gave him a job for his
thanks,
for
bud.
his reckoning. Yeah,
Thanks,
I know.
nigga.
I'm sure Nick Khan's like, "I'm gonna fuck about that."
Honestly, I look at these, and some of these are ones that I thought would have been gone a while ago. Like Breeze definitely missed a couple cuts. Fandango definitely missed a couple cuts, but they were making their way through NXT. NXT was the most.
Fandango has a 15-year WWE career.
Yeah, which is that's Hall of Fame level if I've ever seen one.
I think the first title he won was the NXT Tag Team Championships like last year.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, Godspeed. Like, Godspeed.
Yeah, and NXT and 205 Live were hit the hardest here. It's not hard to see that they were getting away a couple people that had kind of been there for a while. We're not really doing anything. And also, I mean, they seem to be restructuring the 205 Cruiserweight division. There were reports out that they were making it a bigger deal and they were going to feature it more on NXT. I think at the ending of NXT's episode last week showed just how big they were trying to go with the cruiserweight division, and rightfully so. But there were people there that just had that 205 kind of look to them, I guess, and then they just had to go. I mean, Tony Nese and Arya were the final two original guys on that show that were left,
Jesus
and now they're
Christ.
gone. Yeah, they're gone now. So
It's weird. It's 5 years. Last week was 5 years to the like almost the day that the Cruiserweight Classic debuted, and I think, I mean, we're assuming this is we're approaching the end of 205 Live. I'm assuming, yes.
I would imagine, if I was to guess, they've been talking about this Evolve show forever. So if I was to guess, they would do away 205 Live, put cruiserweights on NXT, and then have the NXT Evolve show with those guys that are still left.
Because 205 Live, I mean, it can't even live up to the actual name itself. Isn't live. There's no WWE network. I think it's just on demand.
And also, I think it's stupid to have like the weight thing like prevalent in that. I think it should just be free weight now. You know what I'm saying? Like they should.
Yeah, have them scrap. Give NXT a second show. NXT Dark. You know what I'm saying? NXT Evolution or whatever the fuck are you there? Elevation, whatever.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
I mean, it hurts. I mean, whenever you see these types of losses, I was a really big fan of Tony Nese. I was a big fan of Everrise, but like I could also see that like Everrise, there was nothing imminently coming out of them.
No.
Other than them losing a lot.
Other than Kevin Owens wearing their shirts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Clearly Kevin Owens loved them more than anyone in the WWE. But yeah, there didn't seem to be any distinct or strong plans for them. Really anyone in this kind of class that was released, to be honest with you. So they're out on the indies. They're out into the world. Change the world, my friends. I'm sure we'll hear all types of secrets about 205 Live and how no one watched. So they were able to do all the types of cool shit. I wish them the best. I really generally do. I think these people were a bunch of hardworking people who none of these guys didn't work hard.
Yeah.
To be where they're at. So
but wherever they go, they're gonna be big. You know, especially when everybody gets a chance to do what they got to do. Tyler Breeze, I don't know. I mean,
Tyler Breeze, I don't know. Sorry.
He said he did end up on Xavier's stream last weekend. He said that he had been basically waiting for a release for a long time. Like he was like, I knew I was on the chopping block for a long time, and it just so happened to happen now. And he said that he wasn't sure if he would continue an in-ring career, but he does have a wrestling school, which he started 2 years ago with Sean Spears. So that's something that's obviously a big thing for him. And I think that Diesel's pulling up. I think
big honks for Tyler Breeze.
I think that, you know, if he was to come back as a producer, I think he'd do fantastic in NXT or main roster, wherever he decides to go if he does come back. But the rest of them, they're young. I mean, it kind of sucks that Marina was let go as soon as her husband re-debuted on the show, but you know,
Nick Khan don't care about nobody. Nick Khan only does what's right for business. You know what I'm saying? He's the real authority.
Jesus Christ. All right, one more thing before we get to the shows. You seen the Sasha Banks thing?
I have. I've been trying to avoid it. But it's very, very hard. It's very, very hard living on a wrestling internet type of thing. And not that I'm trying to avoid it because I think personally shit. How do I say this? Anyway, tell the story. I'll think of words.
I don't even want to know what you're about to say. So Sasha Banks, late last Friday, was found liking pictures on Instagram from a very big, if you will, anti-vax, really kind of right-wing QAnon Instagram account. And people dug deeper, and there's even more stuff that's in these accounts that she's either liked or what they represent that really slant it towards a anti-vax, anti-democrat, anti-socialist, anti-whatever you could think of. You know, any dog whistle you could think of Republicans have been using for the past year, she's in on that. And it has really not divided, but you know, we all know Sasha has a very rabid fan base, and it has not only made them just kind of go more inward, in terms of how they defend her, but also really just kind of change their whole. Like these are people that I've physically seen them joke people like Karrion Kross and Drake Wirtz completely go against it and defend Sasha on this, which is
If we learn, bro, if we learn anything from 2 weeks ago, which we talked about in our thing, people will defend what they want to defend.
Yeah.
People will. There is no right or wrong. There is no rhyme or reason. It is only bias. And people will defend what they like and not defend what they don't like. It's hypocritical. It's a bunch of other things. Now, and I'm not saying, I'm not slanting this towards Sasha Banks and stuff like that, but I'm just letting you know, these fans, these people, everybody, they're going to defend who they want to defend because they like them. Not because they believe in them, but because they like this person. This person
spiritual.
who doesn't know them.
She's spiritual. I've had people in my comments saying she should use this as a gimmick, the same way Punk did in the straight edge society. I've seen people saying, "Well, Vince did this and that and all of this other stuff." I'm like, "Well, what one thing Vince ain't done is he ain't fucked around with COVID. He ain't played about that shit. So what is y'all even trying to do?"
I'm trying to learn the least about these superstars now as humanly possible. I like Sasha Banks, so this is very disheartening. You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as I think social media uncovers so many different things that, like, I kind of wish I didn't know, but I'm in some instances you glad you know. You kind of know where you stand. You kind of know where they stand. You kind of know how to position yourself in relative towards that. But other things I think are just brought out because of hate and disdain. One thing I noted over the weekend that I thought came out because of that similar thing. I'm not sure what. Did you see the whole Bellas in China thing?
Yeah.
I didn't like how it came about, but I also didn't like what I saw neither.
Again, some of this stuff is being definitely weaponized where it's like,
yeah,
this was definitely a okay. What they said,
who watched that live?
Exactly. Like who found it? Who found it? Is the crazy
why?
Yeah, like I don't know why. I don't know what. Like it was fucked up what they said about China. I'm not gonna repeat it here, but like that was a show at that time that was for shit like that, and that just shows you just how far we've come in 7-8 years. That type of shit is unacceptable, and that's absolutely right. And they should be taken to the coals for that.
Joan Rivers would not have
exactly
if she had lived.
Exactly.
She would not age well in 2021.
No, and I think that she'd be one of these comedians whining about everyone being too sensitive, right? And this is an issue where it's too sensitive, but it's an issue where it's like it almost felt like, and maybe Meelz, you can kind of agree with me or not on this, that this came out in opposition to what the Sasha conversation.
It just the timing felt weird. The timing felt weird with all of this type of stuff because I agree it could come out in response to that. It's like, well, I could very well see a situation. I'm not saying this is true. I'm not even certain where a Bella Stan army was like, oh, your fave does this. And then a Sasha Banks stan pulls out this clip that they've been holding within, on their real player in their files forever of one appearance of the Bellas on the Fashion Police on E. You know what I'm saying? And pulls that out. And now it's an entire thing. I'm very glad that Nikki Bella has responded to this and, apologized and a lot of other things. And I saw that pretty much the state of China has pretty much accepted their apology and told the stands to stand down, which I feel like a lot of artists need to do. A lot of, not even artists, just a lot of people, public figures and stuff need to corral their fans and tell them, yo, chill.
Yeah.
Because I know Sasha Banks doesn't really do that.
No, she knows like Sasha knows what she's doing. Yeah. She sees it. And I think she sees what's going on now. And I think this is a window into what, not just her, we're not just going to single her out. It's a window into what a lot of these motherfuckers in backstage believe. Really. She's just one of she's just one of them that just so happened to like some pictures and you guys saw it. I don't even know how they found that page, but you guys saw it. And you know what?
Instagram removed the activity thing for a reason.
Exactly. But
to
it's like
save relationships, to save people from slander, and
privacy, privacy.
but there must be an app.
But she shouldn't be liking that from that page though. She shouldn't be liking that type of shit from that page though. No
Nah,
doubt about it.
she go to the private one with that. Maybe she thought she was on the private one.
Maybe, but she didn't stand down from it. It's still there. And I think
Yeah.
people saying, "Oh, it's her body if she wants to get a vaccine or not." There's 600,000 and counting people dying, and there's another variant out today in California. We have to wear masks again indoors. Fucking think about it. We'll be right back with SmackDown and Raw Talk.
What are you doing? Why, Miz? Are you surprised? Because I thought such a money in the bank master like yourself said that he could see and he could sense everything.
Of course I saw
He
you.
can.
It's another aspect of my strategy to lure in the victims into my false sense of security.
Yeah, that's good. So in that case, you must have let me take this.
Hey, sweet dripstick, bro.
Yeah,
I got one just like it.
yeah.
I mean, I had one just like it.
Yeah.
Dripsticks. Ricochet and they're giving Ricochet a lot, man.
Listen, you drizz or drip someone in the face or something along those lines, man. Listen, them drip sticks, those are the real winners in this situation. They're giving Ricochet a lot. Let's talk about the shows this week, man.
Yeah,
let's do that.
SmackDown. Things happen on both shows. I'll say this again. Last week it was like on one show, and I think all three shows from last week they were hitting. I thought they were all really good. But so on SmackDown, we got the return of Edge, and we found out that Edge will be facing Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank in 3 weeks.
The only person that isn't happy about that is Seth Rollins.
Yes.
My man was losing it on Talking Smack. Make Talking Smack special. You got to announce big matches on the show. Because otherwise I don't really want to watch it. But Edge is back. I love it. He's back. He's going to face Romans at Money in the Bank. I love it.
People do not love it. People say, well, Edge got pinned at WrestleMania. I'm like, nigga, they do this all the fucking time.
Shut up.
Not only that, you give the crowd something big to come back to. Edge ain't doing no fucking Money in the Bank match. I'm sorry. He's just not. And
Edge probably was like, people, sign me up. You know what I'm saying?
Really, the story here, though, Meelz, is the fact that Edge never got his one-on-one.
Yeah. Because Daniel Bryan, who's number 8 on our, top 10 list, screwed him out of it.
Screwed him out of his list position, too.
That's another story. But yes, but I'm loving it. I like Edge. I think he holds a very he's a strong opposition to Roman Reigns. I would not have known otherwise who would have challenged Roman Reigns, because he pretty handedly dumped Mysterio and Dominic in the trash. So I'm lucky it's Edge, and I see Edge coming back, and this month and next month it's gonna be big for Roman Reigns. That's all I got to say about that.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we talked about Seth Rollins, but he's doing some really good character work. He's the odd man out, and I think we got some seeds once again of what's to come for Seth Rollins, and specifically when it comes to Edge, who nudged him out of the position for the Universal title shot. Which I think it's funny that the only reason he thinks he deserves this is because he got one win over the guy he's been losing to all year.
Talk about the privilege. No, Seth Rollins came in, he walked in the office, he's like, my resume, my energy. Like, I need that title shot. And I would have loved to see it. If Edge hadn't came back, I'd have been like, all right, Roman versus Seth. Okay. I don't know who to cheer for, but I'm gonna cheer for somebody. I love the seeds for it.
Yeah.
This is great. This is fantastic.
Really Liv Morgan, she qualified for Money in the Bank. So good for her.
She actually did not qualify for Money in the Bank.
Wait, I thought she did.
Nope. So she's not in the match.
Why did I think that?
Because they confused the shit out of everybody. They made it seem like, oh, Liv, if you win, you'll be in the match. But what they really said is, Liv, if you win, we'll consider you to be in the match. And I'm like, there's 4 women on SmackDown that aren't in this thing. Put her in the goddamn match.
What's the fucking confusion? Yeah, what's the confusion here?
No, I just looked on WWE.com. She's not in the match.
Wow, I'm an idiot. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It was confusing. I'm glad you did that because it was confusing for no reason. Liv Morgan got a win, and she's not even in the damn match. And not to say that's anything against Liv Morgan, but it's like, put her in the match. Like, I don't even know why SmackDown is having qualifying matches for the women. There's 3 of them that aren't doing anything.
Yeah.
Put them in the match.
Nakamura had a King's coronation, and we're getting a really kind of cool character turn for Baron here, where he doesn't really know where to go next.
That shit was funny as fuck.
Yo, it was
showed
really
up
good.
in a black shirt and jeans, looking wild regular. Ugh.
I like this turn for Nakamura. I think that, you know, them giving him something to do is fine.
You about to be grilling Baron Corbin.
do you think this will lead to really like King of the Ring again? I'm feeling like it is.
No, because I feel like I've always heard that Vince hates tournaments, and I felt like this was the passing of the King thing, sans tournament. I feel like they were definitely in the writer's room. It was like, but Vince hates tournaments. And it was like, yeah, but we need a new, just pass the King to somebody else. Just do it, and we'll continue. We'll pass it somehow. We'll continue to pass this thing from champion or king to king, et cetera, but let's not do the tournaments. I would have loved to see a tournament.
We'll see. Well, I wouldn't say you're talking like it's a done deal. I'll just wait and see what's happening with this King thing. If it ends with Nakamura being an Intercontinental Champion again, then I'll be like, okay, there's no tournament coming. But I mean, there's really only 2 paths he can take here from this: is Roman again, or Roman, since he really got screwed out of he got screwed out of a match with Roman literally earlier this year, or Apollo Crews.
I will wait and see because I have no idea what the hell is going to happen.
Speaking of Apollo, well, not even Apollo, but Big E.
Well, he beat Apollo.
He beat Apollo, yeah, okay. Big E is he's qualified for Money in the Bank as well.
Do you feel like he's going to win? The internet would lead you to believe that this is the opportunity. This is the moment.
The internet would lead you to believe he was supposed to win in Mania. He was supposed to win in TLC. He was supposed to win at Royal Rumble. I keep telling y'all that this is not going to happen. There are people on the show. There's the guy that he was facing on SmackDown. To me, was a bigger deal to him. I think my issue with Big E is that he still looks too much like New Day. He looks too much like the New Day. Like, he looks like he's still in the group. If he's going to be solo, Big E needs a complete, like, I'm not saying to like go away from his personality, but his look is just the same to me. He just looks like New Day.
I feel like they need to put him start putting him in bigger programs. But
you don't think his look his look is part of it too?
Yes, but I don't think he's gonna change that.
Well, he gonna keep being New Day nigga.
Shout out to the NDN New Day nigga.
New Day, he is. I think that was it for Raw or SmackDown. Those are the big.
Yeah, SmackDown wasn't much. SmackDown wasn't. We got Jimmy Uso trying to be the new Jey Uso.
That storyline is in the back burner like shit now. Now that Jimmy's back, that's in the back burner like shit. Let's get to Raw. I thought it was a real good show 2 weeks in a row. Good on them.
It was weird. This isn't a problem with Raw. It was a problem with me. I wasn't feeling it. I just wasn't feeling watching or commenting on Raw really for the entire day. It was weird. That's on me. It's not that it was a bad show. That was on me. I wasn't feeling Raw last night. I wasn't feeling like diving into Raw last night. I don't know. I was just in a bag. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what you're talking about. I
don't know neither.
Good. If you thought Raw was good, let us know. I thought Raw was real. I don't know
Raw was great. Raw was great.
Like, okay, I'm talking about the quality of the show, not your feelings.
No, it was just, it was great. It was great. The Ricochet had my favorite moment on Monday Night Raw.
There you go. Riddle's still in the show on Raw. Is it apparent to anyone yet that this guy is somebody that they like?
Over like Rover. Over. He had 2 matches in place of Randy Orton, a main event and open Raw.
He did the comeback from the back spot. Not many people get that. Okay.
No. Yeah, he still lost, but he came back from the back And that's
It
what
was the
matters.
foot game. It was the foot game, man. That's what it was. I would shudder to think that him not being able to get Randy into this match. Where was Randy Orton? Nobody knows where he was. I hope he's okay.
PTO.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair. He steals the show. He enters the Battle Royal in place of Randy Orton. Has a really cool little spot with Damian Priest, who returned this week, and it seems like they're not bumping him down, and I like that. They had him, front and center in that Battle Royale. He was one of the last two with Riddle, and then they had him come back for a promo with Riddle as well. So they have not given up on him. I'm very glad to see Damian Priest back, and glad to see that
Good for him.
Yeah.
Very casual. Him and Baron Corbin. They're a tag team. I guarantee you. Baron Corbin, he's gonna want to take over his body.
But the fantastic main event with also Riddle, who won the Battle Royale to get placed into the match that Randy was missing this week, the triple threat between Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles for the last participant in Money in the Bank, was tremendous. Drew ends up winning with a Claymore and qualifies for Money in the Bank. So you're not done with him yet. Okay, we're not done with Drew yet.
Do you feel like he'll actually win?
No.
Okay. I feel like this is to throw us off the scent.
Yeah, it's a big throw. I honestly think that, I know SmackDown isn't settled yet. SmackDown has a last man standing match between KO and Sammy this week. If Jey Uso wins,
what a very dangerous qualifying match. It's more dangerous than the fucking ladder match.
If Jey Uso ends up in this match, I'm like, I don't even. He's gonna win it. I'm just gonna like Jey Uso's winning the match. I don't know what to say, but I think this field this year just alone is way better than last year's Money in the Bank by all accounts on the men's side.
They saw it. It was like, oh, we got people back. Listen, we could stop just
let's go off.
Stop just cruise controlling. Let's go off. Let's get all the big guys in there.
And you said the right word there. I feel like Raw is off cruise control. I feel like Raw is definitely back on to trying to make things happen on the show. We went through a year of things not happening on the show to now we get everybody on the show. I mean, we saw a Riker Elias match for 10 minutes this week. And you know what?
I didn't watch that shit. I didn't watch that.
I did. It wasn't offensive. The thing is I can't get over is the fact that that the guys are offensive. The match wasn't offensive to me. I don't
have a horse in the race. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, could they make Jackson Riker look more weird? Weird?
They make him look more like a insurrectionist. No, but
yeah,
I thought that, I don't know who produced this match, but I thought that it was worked well. And that's all I really got to say about it. I would rather not see these guys on my TV, but if you're going to put it in front of me, I thought they had an okay match. Whatever. Drop.
Hey, listen. Don't drop that dunk it up. You know what I'm saying?
They love that. I'm shocked that they're doing the split between her and Eva Marie so fast. Are you?
I'm shocked there was no outrage that she beat Asuka 1-2-3 clean as a whistle on national television. And we're not. Did the Asuka person show up in your DMs yet?
No, and that's so weird because it's almost like the narrative doesn't work anymore. Because like the narrative is that Asuka's being buried and in the favor of all these other people that are old and blonde and blah blah, and then she loses to Piper Niven, and it's like,
crickets, nigga.
It's crickets.
Jiminy crickets.
Because your narrative doesn't work anymore. They're trying to build Piper right now, and they're doing a strong case of that. And they need to get them away from Asuka and Naomi because they have a Money in the Bank match and they don't need to be like losing that much. But I got a feeling that either one of the two in this tandem are going to be, or in this duo are going to be in Money in the Bank. I think they're going to get a last chance qualifier or something.
I agree. I think that's what we're building towards.
There was a really good Ricochet and John Morrison match that I think people should absolutely go see. These two have great chemistry, and it ends on one of the most talked about spots.
Lucha Underground, baby. Come on, never forget. Hashtag never forget.
I mean, I thought it was great. Ricochet jumping out of the ring into the non-crowd, into the Thunderdome, which I thought, they've been posting it all day on WWE socials. It's gotten such a positive reaction. Ricochet needs to do stuff like this to get back to where I feel like he was number 2. You know what I mean? He needs to do stuff like this to get back to that. Tremendous MVP in Kofi promo. I thought it was really good.
I thought it was good too. It was kind of off-putting by having the women out there. I thought it undercut the seriousness. It made me like concerned of like, what were they doing out there? Are they like contractually obligated for one appearance on Raw?
Yeah, they're bringing some of them back.
All the time. Was Bobby on Raw?
No, he brought Bobby, and Bobby was not on Raw, and Randy was
But
not
the
on.
women were.
Come on, man. They got a contract. They got to be around MVP at least. MVP said, I ain't going out there without no hoes.
MVP like, listen,
I get
if
hoes.
Bobby ain't here, I ain't showing up. It's like, well, we bring the women back, MVP. Well, if we're gonna bring them back, shout out to the person who showed me the picture that I couldn't. I had blocked out of my brain. I was talking about we need to invite Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks to the BET Awards, and then got a ton of Sasha fans like, she was at the BET Awards in 2017. I meant like on stage, like presenting an award or something, or winning a sports award or something, please. Someone in my mention showed me a picture that, MVP was at the BET Awards like in 2007.
Yeah.
But he was dating, what's her face?
Cheryl something?
Sherry?
Sherry, yeah. Sherry.
Sherry something from The View. And I was like, ugh.
Was he dating her, or was she just his date?
I heard they were dating.
Okay.
I heard.
Go ahead on there.
I heard.
Go ahead on there.
Clearly not anymore.
He was knocking that out the box. You hear me? Miscellaneous stuff. Nikki Cross has a new name. It's Nikki Ash, almost a superhero. They're running with it. What's going on, man? You gotta go to.
I actually should probably answer this phone call because it's my dad, and I've ignored him like twice.
Okay, we'll hurry up and get over with the show. Shayna Baszler still taking pinfalls. I'm thinking that Shayna's not going to be on Raw very much longer. This is a hunch. I think she'll be gone pretty soon. But I mean, again, Charlotte and Rhea, they're going through it. Charlotte, and I guess the storyline here is that Rhea can't let Charlotte out cheat her. I'm having real issues seeing what the actual storyline is here. There is no clear defined heel or face. They want Charlotte to be the big heel of the women's division, but Rhea is also a big heel of the division. They need to separate these two altogether. I would also feel as though Charlotte will not be on Raw very much longer, and her and Shayna may be on the way out because they like, Rhea can't be the top heel they want her to be, or the heel they want her to be, if Charlotte is there. It just cannot happen.
No, it just can't happen. It can't. We got to move Charlotte to SmackDown.
She's got to go.
We got to go. We got to go. Listen, Charlotte versus Bianca Belair, though.
Fire.
Come on.
I'm not ready for the narrative behind that if Bianca loses. I'm not ready. I'm so not ready.
She might have to lose a couple times, but she'll get her win back. I promise you that.
Well, I mean, I feel like they're in line to making Bianca, just the way that they present her, and in line to be like that Charlotte level talent. That is someone who is homegrown from their PC. One of the biggest PC success stories that they have. You want her front and center next to the Charlottes, next to the Sashas, next to the Baileys. Like, she is legit homegrown, not a second generation, third generation superstar. Like, that is it with her right there. So we'll see. But that was Raw. Really good shows.
That was Raw.
Anything else?
Adam Pearce is a hoe, but that's really
all right.
all that I kind of wanted to say. I don't know if anything else has been happening. I mean, internet, just be nicer, please, for the love of God, please. And Damian Lillard, come to New York next, please.
All right, get the fuck out of here. As always, please follow us at the Show RNC on Twitter. Make sure you check out the King of the Ring 96 review that I did with Dom Griffin from last week. It was such a fun conversation. And thank you to Dom for joining. And that's on our Patreon. Sorry if I didn't mention that. Make sure you sign up for our Patreon as well. We got 2 new people on the Patreon too.
I was going to do that. Let's go. We got 2 new people on the Patreon. Shout out to Nick Simon.
Yes.
Shout out for you joining the Patreon. And also JD Jackson. Shout out to you. Long time fan, man. Good to see you on the Patreon, bro. That's all I got. I'm thankfully I got all the names that you could pronounce very, very easily, whereas you get all the names that have some, that aren't.
I'm shit. I'm proud. I'm so sorry.
But nonetheless, Thank you guys for pledging. Continue to pledge. You get all these additional content. You also get the Invasion Diaries. Remember this Sunday. I keep saying Sunday like it's gonna be. Should I just release it on Sunday? This Monday, next week Monday rather. J5 and I, SummerSlam 2001, Invasion Diaries. One of the matches that I guess no one kind of talks about how fucking fire it was. Kurt Angle versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Listen. And we go through a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, we talk a lot about 2001 in that episode. So
sometimes I just like to steal.
Yeah. I hope you found that clip. I cannot wait to listen. All right,
I can't find it. Fuck, but go ahead.
All right, I'll try and find it for you. We also talk about Jesse Camp. Okay, but we're not going to spoil anymore. So thank you guys for listening to the A Show. For Meelz, I'm Justin. We'll see you guys next week. Please be safe. Please wear a mask. Please wear a mask, and please be safe in this heat. Please stay cool. Praying for all you guys in Portland. Praying for all you guys in New York. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.